Hello, welcome back to the Essence Show and podcast. Today, we are diving into the 3 mistakes that you are making with your cyclical success strategy. So, AKA, in other words, you are trying to live more in your cyclical nature, trying to live more cyclically, but it just doesn't seem to be working for you. Or you're still feeling tired, drained, low on energy, lacking time, or just kind of frustrated with the whole goddamn thing. This is for you. Are you ready to unlock a whole new level of success? One that's aligned with your natural rhythm, overflowing with energy, and magnetic to the opportunities you desire? Introducing my signature Sacred Success course, Rest for Success, the transformative course that's redefining how women approach achievement, revolutionize work, and create sacred success. Imagine embracing a revolutionary approach to work, one that empowers you to slow down, rest, and harness limitless energy. Discover the secret codes that make you magnetic to success and guide you in working with, not against, your natural cycles, your womb wisdom, and your body. Join me on a journey that embraces rest as the ultimate strategy for success. Why? Well, because we've been so caught up in the hustle and striving, we have created work cycles that are only focused on output and productivity. So the purpose and intention and power and magic of this course is to bring back the entire cycle of how you are into how you are working. And that is where rest comes in. It's more than just self-care. It's more than just slowing down. It's about honoring the full cycle of creation for your creation so that you can unlock a cyclical blueprint for success, heal your burnout and trauma around working and succeeding, and step into a life of freedom frequency where you are the flow CEO. If you're a woman ready to revolutionize your approach to work, to unleash your full energy potential, and to magnetize success with ease, Rest for Success is your ultimate guide. Click the link below to join the waitlist for extra goodies or enroll now and become part of the movement that is changing the way we define and achieve success. Are you ready to embrace restful achievement and step into a life of limitless potential? Then join me inside Rest for Success. Visit oliviaheine.com/rest for success and let's revolutionize your success story together. Hello, my beautiful souls. Welcome back to another episode of the Essence Show and Podcast. I am Olivia Heine, your NLP and Sacred Success coach, freedom frequency lifestyle curator, and fellow goal getter. I am here just like you are, wanting to create big, beautiful dreams in my life. And like I say every time, I feel like I've cracked the codes to doing that, especially in what we're talking about today. I'm a big experimenter in my own life, and really that is what I feel like my purpose is to go through all the ups and downs and the bullshit and all of the struggle city situations so that you don't have to. If you're new here and you don't know me or my story or why the heck you should be listening to me in this podcast on this episode, I have actually taken myself from burnout, from being a type A overachieving, people-pleasing perfectionist to what I call a flow CEO, flowing in my own life, living a life on my terms in my freedom frequency. And yes, 100% I'm human. I sometimes still get pulled back into old default modes or triggers. But what I've really created is a foolproof flow foundational system and framework for living this life in my cyclical nature, in my own authentic essence, allowing myself to create more sacred success, more freedom, more time, more energy, and more ease. And I've actually put together and created over time the codes for doing exactly that. And I'm going to be sharing one of those with you today. I have been practicing cyclical living for over 4 years now, and I have helped and supported 70 plus women move out of burnout cycles, moving out of overwhelm, and starting to build their cyclical success strategy starting to create a life where they are creating success that is sacred, not success that's putting them back into stress or survival mode, and creating a freedom frequency life. So in this podcast and in this episode today specifically, I'm going to try and give you as much as I possibly can on this topic, sharing the 3 mistakes that I 1000% made, and also the 3 mistakes that I just see happen the most when I support clients or when I talk to people in our community, members, move into a cyclical strategy, whether that's within your business, in your work life, in your personal life, you're simply just wanting to connect with that on a personal, like internal level, whatever it is, these 3 mistakes come up very, very often. So before we dive in, if you are new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you are not new here, but you've been watching and listening and you have not subscribed yet, what the heck are you doing? Go hit that subscribe button. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts, hit that subscribe, follow button. And it would mean the world to me if you left a rating and review or a comment below in the YouTube section, even just like, hey, love this video, love this episode. Of course, I'm going to ask for a 5-star rating. So if that feels like it aligns with you, please give that to this episode or to this show, because it really, really helps the reach and the amount of people that we can call in with this work. So let's talk about the 3 ways. I'm literally just going to like scroll through these 3 ways. And then I have a really important announcement at the end about my signature course, Rest for Success. So if you've been hearing a lot about it, because I've been talking a lot about it, or if you've not heard about it at all yet, I really recommend like staying to the end, because I have some really exciting news there. And if you're listening to this episode, it's going to be relevant to you. So mistake numero uno, number 1, is that you are in the process of becoming more in tune with your cyclical nature. You've been setting up a new structure, right? But the mistake that I often see is that you are taking this new structure and trying to apply it in your life with an old mindset. So what this means is, so often when we start living cyclically, it's because we've been living in a linear way before. So this dominant masculine approach to success, this masculine model of success, I don't talk about that connection a lot, but linear success is masculine model of success, where it's really about like maximum productivity every single day, hitting the goal, reaching the next level. Whereas cyclical success, or more of that feminine energy success, is really about being in the journey, enjoying the flow, enjoying the process of getting there, and then actually creating more success because you are in a frequency of expansiveness, you're in a frequency of enjoyment, and that is connected to the outcome that you're creating then. So that was a bit of a side tangent, but when we are in the old mindset, which is I need a strict and rigid structure, I need it to be perfect, I need to work really hard to get my outcome, I need to put more time in order to get a bigger result. Like, it's all of these very conditional mindsets that the linear success model teaches us. And what this old mindset does is it creates resistance in your new structure. So even if you are setting up the cyclical strategy perfectly, you've identified your 4 phases, you've picked the code that you're wanting to work on. So I talk about this inside my free sacred guide, the 3, what is it called? The 3 cyclical codes to expand productivity. And the 3 codes are the moon, your womb, and the seasons. Those are 3 main codes. There are many more than that, but those are the ones that we're talking about inside that guide. If you need to download that guide, the link is in the description below. But if you've identified what your codes are, you've identified how to set them up, you've joined me in Cyclical Ascension, and so you've already started to create your strategy, but now you're like, okay, something's still not working, Olivia. What is it? Like, I have the structure, I have the strategy. This could be it, where you are creating resistance because you're applying your old mindset to this new structure, where you're feeling like it needs to be perfect. You're questioning if you're doing enough. Suddenly you have more time and space in your day where you are prioritizing pleasure, where you're resting. And now you're like, okay, well, that feels really fucking uncomfortable. Like, I feel like I should be doing more. Like, are you sure I'm doing enough? It could also be that it's not happening fast enough. Like, you're feeling like, oh, the cyclical approach isn't working, even though you've only done it for like a couple weeks, maybe even a month. And essentially, like I said, you're too much in that masculine energy model still. You're still too much in this old linear approach, like in this old mindset, and you're trying to apply it to this new structure. Does that make sense? So really, like, what we want to be doing here is implementing the combination of your new up-leveled mindset around your cyclical life and your life of freedom and sacred success, along with the cyclical strategy. Like, strategy is never, ever, ever going to be enough on its own. 1000% we need strategy. I'm so here for that. Like I said before, recovering overachiever type A, like organization freak, I love a good strategy, but a strategy is nothing without the mindset to support it. And so really what I want to just share really quickly here is like, that is exactly what we're doing inside Rest for Success. You're getting the implementation of the strategy with the support of your mindset. And it is so important to have this mindset of this new way of working so that you can release not only the old structure, which you've probably already done, but also the old mindset that has been drilled into your head for such a long time. That's mistake number one. Let me know in the comments below if you are number one. Literally just drop the number one. Mistake number two, you are jumping in too quickly. If you are anything like me, you are probably a go-getter. Welcome, welcome. And you are constantly trying to get your hands into something new. You just want to absorb it all right away. In human design, if you're familiar with human design, am a manifesting generator. And so I am very multi-passionate and I have a pretty quick fuse for starting new projects. I am pretty good at finishing them, but when something catches my attention, I'm like, oh my God, I want to take action. I want to do it right away. That's what started my astrology journey. And like, obviously that's worked out really well because I've incorporated like astrology into the work that I do with my one-on-one clients. Astrology is actually also incorporated into Rest for Success. The moon as one of the 3 codes is an element of astrology. But like, that's a great example of, I was like, oh my God, I have to do it all, and immediately like signed up for a course and certification. I'm like, okay, we could probably calm down a little bit there. But when we're talking about it in terms of your strategy and like you're trying to put a framework into place, your cyclical framework, this is like a flow framework. This is your foundation for life. Okay. This is like not just your foundation for doing the next project or reaching the next goal. This is your foundation for how you're going to be living and achieving and creating and enjoying your entire life, like the entire time that you're going to be on this planet. Okay. And so if we're going to jump into this and expect to like put it all into place in 5 minutes in one day, like Rome wasn't built in a day, right? It can be that you're really motivated and you're like excited to put it all into place. And so you can set it up quite quickly, but there's so much value. And this is what I want you to focus on, in really practicing the elements and then really taking your time to be in them, to embody them, to fully like rest in them, to contemplate them, to set your foundations only once you've really done that. Okay. So what I suggest here is really being in this for a while. So you have the free sacred guide, you have cyclical ascension, which I dive into all of this in much more detail. You also have Rest for Success, where you can get so much more support in really implementing this, and to really start to just get to know it really well, like know the signs of your body, know the phases of the moon, know how you want to be working with the different codes, and like practicing that. And then really taking some time to be like, okay, what does that look like in my life? Like changing the foundations. Because again, if you're just kind of half implementing it, and this is what I did, I had like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Like I couldn't fully commit because like I was like, oh, I want to just do this so badly, so I'm going to start infusing it into my life. But then I wasn't actually like clearing the old structure in order to set the new foundation. I was just trying to put like this new foundation on top of the old structure. And that's where you start to create energy leaks. That's where you start to create a shaky foundation, because you're not actually like putting the foundation in place as you would like it. You're trying to patchwork it, but that's not even your intention. You just want to have it done. Does that make sense? And so I think that it's so important. This is a mistake that I see people making, and I know that I made this one too, is you're like, oh, I'm so excited about this, but then you don't actually put the proper foundations in place that then support you long term. So for me, about 6 months ago, I had a huge like shaky drop in my business because I had set up these cyclical codes or a cyclical success strategy specifically for one area of my business on top of another old strategy. Like I hadn't cleared it before setting the new one in place. And so that actually cost me time and money because it was too shaky to actually sustain the results that I was calling in. And so I kind of like not resented, but like pulled back my ability to create more results, like to call in more clients essentially. Does that make sense? And so Really, it is so important to have the time and space to be like, okay, I understand this well enough now. Now I'm going to put it in place and I'm really going to commit to living this way moving forward. Okay. So in Rest for Success, oh my goodness, over 8 weeks, I walk you through setting up these foundations, making sure that you have the right support, making sure that the foundations are really strong, making sure that it's set up for sustainability and longevity, that you're really like using these ancient wisdom and these processes to do that. Okay. Again, the value of having an 8-week course rather than like the 2-day cyclical ascension event, or just a guide that, I give you one time. This is like real community support here. Okay. Number 3, this is the third and final mistake I'm going to share with you today. You are taking the cyclical success strategy, the cyclical way of living, in order to do more. So you're using this as a method to just do more shit. Okay. So suddenly you realize, like, wow, I've cracked the code for having more time. And instead of using the extra time that you're now creating or the extra energy that you're creating to enjoy your life, to spend time with loved ones, to relax, to rest, to do something fun, you use it and fill up your calendar with more work. There's actually a saying that that's not the saying. There's a saying that says you expand to fill the space you're given. And you can do the same thing with time. You expand to fill the time that you're given. So if you have a bigger house, you're going to fill it with more stuff than if you had a smaller house. And the same is true with your time. If you suddenly have more time, the impulse is to fill that time. And this kind of connects back to mistake number 1, which is you haven't addressed your mindset. You haven't aligned your mindset with this new strategy. So there might still be a mindset that's like, oh my God, I need to work more. I need to do more. Like, I don't feel safe when I'm not busy, when I don't have a packed schedule. Like, if you're someone who's always busy, this one is for you. And this is a big mistake where you're pretty much trying to like cheat the system in order to use this new time mender tool and this expanded energy just to take on more on your plate and just to say yes to more things. The thing is, this is another time when people are like, oh, I feel like it's not working for me. And it's not that it's not working for you, but your mind just totally skipped the part where you had more time and more energy and just started using it. Like, you didn't even consciously make yourself aware of it. You just skipped right on to like, okay, we're going to do more. What else can I take on? Like, you didn't connect it to the fact that you created this time and energy because of your strategy, because of your cyclical approach. So pretty clearly, this is just going to leave you feeling more burnt out, more overwhelmed, more stressed out than before. This is kind of like, I was never really into Harry Potter, but I feel like this is the vibe here. Like, the more powers you have, the more responsibility you have, right? So like, the more you're able to control and like tap into this like ancient wisdom, which like, let's just call it like a magic power, like you have more possibility, but it also comes with responsibility. You can have more freedom, but that freedom also comes with more responsibility, right? When you take on more clients or like a higher paying job or a higher up position, it comes with more responsibility, but also with more freedom. So it's this balance that you're going through where, okay, I'm consciously going to take on these bigger powers but use them responsibly, because otherwise, if I'm not, it also comes with a greater downfall. Does that make sense? So in Rest for Success, I teach you how to do this. We rewire any and all beliefs that you have about rest and pleasure and enjoyment in life so that you really understand and you get to a place where even if you logically feel like you understand this right now, there's clearly something on your subconscious level that is not in agreement with this, where you don't need to earn rest, where it doesn't plateau your momentum, or you don't feel like I need to do more. You don't feel like you're lacking that momentum or that clarity. Like, if you are using cyclical living and cyclical success strategies correctly, you're going to have more time. You're going to have more energy. You're going to feel more ease and pleasure. If you're not, that is actually a sign that there's something that's off about it. And it's not that it's not working for you. That's also, if you're like, oh, it just doesn't work for me, that is also a limiting belief right there, where you are somehow deciding like, oh, I'm special, it doesn't work for me. And I know that because I've done that. So like, no judgment, no calling out outside of it being in a loving way. So we really focus on rewiring those beliefs so that taking on this new way of working and this new way of living feels really aligned, feels really easeful, feels really good, because that flow exists within that. And the thing is, if we have been living in this old belief pattern and in this old conditioning of how we need to work and that we need to do more and we're not deserving of rest, and especially as women, there's this pressure to like perform and outdo one another, outdo ourselves to show that we're good enough, like so much more in a lot of cases than men, because there's that like, oh, I need to like get to their level and then beyond it. Like there's so much conditioning there in order to feel seen, heard, accepted, successful, all of that, that this isn't just like, oh, you had one belief one time, like last week. This is like generations of mindset and conditioning. But I'm going to tell you, like, it's not going to take you that long to clear it. What you actually just need are the right tools and the right support in order to move through that and get to a place where you can really be in that state of flow, have the energy, like make use of all the magical powers. So to say that come through living cyclically in your success, in your life, in your time freedom, all of that. And the release can actually be quite simple. But if we continue to focus on the old mindset or keep trying to apply the new strategy from an old mindset perspective, then of course you're going to come up against resistance, right? So those are the 3 mistakes that you're making. Now, I told you to stay to the end because I have something really important to share, and that is that Rest for Success, my signature Sacred Success course for living in your cyclical essence and in your cyclical nature and creating a flow foundation for a freedom frequency life, is open. I haven't had this course open for pretty much a year. So this is a really exciting opportunity. And if you are a woman wanting to work more productively, you want to have more energy, you want to create more time, you want to become a time bender and achieve massive success that is sacred, which means it feels good, and reach the goals that you know you are here to create, this course is for you, because this is, like I said, the foundation for creating your flow framework and for living cyclically within your own personal life. So that means like how you feel on a daily basis, how you manage your emotions, all of that stuff. And then also in your work. So whether that's your business, your career, like this is for you. Cyclical living and creating a rest for success approach is not just like a process that I teach you once or that you do once. Like this is a way of life. Like you are stepping into a whole new way of living and creating and experiencing success and enjoyment in life, and creating a life that's really based in this pleasure and in this freedom frequency. And what you're going to be creating in this course is essentially a foolproof foundation for how to work, how to rest, and how to create that life based in pleasure and life in your freedom frequency. I've called this course Rest for Success because your cyclical nature teaches you that there are ebbs and flows to everything, to your life, to your projects, to your successes, to your seasons of life that you go through. And rest is a core element of that. And society has really left that out. So the whole point is to kind of shock you a little bit. And of course, like we are really focusing on creating this work-life balance within this course, but it is really to bring you in fully into all the different phases of your cyclical nature so that you can really infuse these teachings. None of us have really been taught how to rest, how to be in our body. We're constantly busy. We're constantly wanting distractions. And so this is really about releasing this focus of always doing and achieving, but also using that as a way to create more sacred success. So this course really teaches you how to infuse the two together. So sacred success and sacred balance, and in this case, rest, so that you can create sustainable success, sustainable processes that no longer sacrifice your well-being for your dream life. Okay. So the course is still open for enrollment, and I have some goodies that are going to just support you in stepping into this course. So you can go click the link in the description and find out what all of those are, all the kind of extra bonuses and stuff that you get when you enroll. And if you have any questions, let me know. Reach out to me. Email me at hello@oliviaheine.com. Reach out and DM me at Olivia Heine Coaching, and let's have a chat about it. I'm here to give zero pressure, to just support you in making the most aligned decision for yourself. And honestly, like this course is the most incredible thing that I've ever created, truly, because this was the infusion of everything that I created for myself, the framework and the foundation that I built up for myself that I put into a course format, and it's really digestible. It's only 8 weeks, and you have a support system and a foundation for the success for the rest of your life, essentially. So all the links to that are in the description below. I cannot wait for you to join me inside Rest for Success. I welcome you in with open arms. I'm so excited to give you a big hug metaphorically when you get in. And I will see you back here next week for the next episode of the Essence Shown podcast. Bye, loves.